We have a bit of a situation, dude, that I've helped out in the past. The one I was talking about just the other day that unfortunately died just as we got to his just as we got to his drop pod basically and lost all his stuff. He's in need of another rescue, so I let him know that I'm streaming, and he's okay with that. So I'm going to get him on voice on Steam, and going to be joining his prospect shortly. Let's. Why did the game just freeze up? That was a little weird. Okay. We will double check. Let's see, because we're going to use this dude for the rescue. I just want to double check what the loadout is there. I have an ultra meal. Okay. Because he says that he's quite far away from the drop site. We've got bow, we've got arrows, we've got that, we've got movement speed upgrade. Oh, I need to ask him what biome it is, what. Because if he's in the Arctic or something, or I have to go through a significant part of the Arctic or the desert, for example, then I'd much rather put the appropriate. I'd much rather put the appropriate suit on. And let's go to the workshop. I thought I'd bought an axe for this guy. I've got the MXC axe. I thought I'd already bought him a decent axe, but I hadn't. Let's get that axe. Yeah. We'll chuck that out. We'll put that in. This is the dong, isn't it? Yeah, we've got the dong. He died in the snow near the Riverland, so I'd better. He died in the snow near the Riverlands, so we're gonna have to clear that and cold resistant suit. There we go. So what have we got? We've got dong, we've got axe, we've got knife, we've got arrows, we've got that for running. But we'll arrive in the desert. We'll arrive in the desert, but we have to go to the Arctic to actually res him. It's not really in the snow. Okay. It's not really in the snow, so I don't. Basically the last bear. So I'm guessing that he's in the actual subglacier, the southern glacier. Okay, so we need the desert suit, and the other dude's got the desert suit on. How much for one of them? 250 and 100. Oh, sorry, there it is. Yeah, they're both 250 and 100. Well, I guess I'm going to have this kind of thing happen more and more often, where I've got a suit on with one guy and I'm going to need it for the other, so I might as well get another. I'm going to be getting the reward and the exotics for whatever mission this guy's on. I'm on a mission of my own right now where I'm going to get money and exotics, and I've still got an outstanding Voyager that people that are doing that I'm going to get money and exotics from. So I've got a decent amount of money coming up, so I don't mind. It is the right one, isn't it? Heat resistance, yeah. We'll buy that. Heat resistance. Ultra meal. Oh, we don't have an oxygen. My eyes aren't playing tricks on me, are they? We don't have an oxygen bottle here. And I had extra oxygen bottles. What's going on? I had oxygen bottles for every single one of my dudes. That's why there's nothing here canteen wise. I've put at least one canteen on all of my dudes. Did I mistakenly... Let's go back to character selection and select the other guy that I've still got in the library. See if I mistakenly put... I didn't mistakenly put 2 oxygen bottles on this guy. Well, I'm not going to buy an oxygen bottle as well right now. I'll grab that. Dun, 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 dun. But then we're going to have to substitute something that we've already got because we're full. Well, hang about. It's a rescue. I'm not going to be stopping off at a base or even have time to really bother filling up the oxygen bottle, so I'm going to go with oxide. So I might as well just have the canteen. Yeah, loadout's good. Join Prospect, Yom, and he's on there, okay.
The ACS have big plans for
Oh, it's
Icarus,
Voyager.
and you're part of them. Things haven't been running smoothly down there for them. They've been losing teams, equipment, and resources.
I'm going to have yet another Voyager
so
on the books.
To outsource someone with a proven record, because this one's gonna get wild.
Yeah, if I was going to stay and help him with Voyager, I'd definitely leave the Harkon. But if he says that he's basically in the Riverlands on the edge of the Arctic biome, then I honestly can't figure out where he is. Anyway, let's I'll call him. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okie dokie,
How are
cool.
you?
I'm good, good.
Nice.
And you?
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just confirming the loadout now. I'm gonna be joining any second. Loading prospect. Here we go.
Nice. Never done this one before.
No, oh, I've done this one about, like, actually completed it. I've probably completed it about 5 times, but I've been on this prospect probably like 12, 13, 14 times already.
Okay.
I know this one inside out.
Okay, nice. And then you can tell me what's the end of it, because I think that's the one where the objective isn't told at the beginning. I don't remember yet.
Oh, you get all the info on the objectives once you get to the drop pod. There's a
Okay.
there's a drop pod. Just a second, I can't hear you because the boosters on my drop pod too loud.
Okay. I'll wait a few of them. Tell me when it's alright.
There we go. I'm down.
Okay. Yes, so I was telling I choose to mine first, so I did all the work. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
where the deposits were, but I still didn't go to the mission point. So that's why I didn't get the objectives yet.
And hope you got better luck than their last crew.
Yeah, okay. I see. No biggie. I normally make a beeline to the map grid L10, and I set up a base there because it's fairly secluded. Like I build inside of a cave, and I do about the same thing as you do, just like get everything prepped and then go to the mission objectives. I can tell you what they are if you want. I don't want to just come straight out and say it. You might some people have problem with getting spoilers and stuff. So
Oh, I don't mind.
yeah,
In fact, I'll get prepared.
okay. Well, basically, when you go to the drop pod, it'll list off all of the objectives you have to do, but there's going to be um, two units inside the drop pod, which you have to pick up, and you have to repair them. And one of them takes some electronics and titanium and some other stuff, and the other one takes some titanium and carbon fiber and stuff, and you have to repair it at a machining bench.
Okay.
And you also have to charge with electricity the drop pod. So
Okay. So,
you need to put down a generator next to the drop pod and connect it with the electric tool. And that the charging takes quite a while. So what I normally do is go to the drop pod with the generator and like a little house you can set up next to it, so it's safe.
yes.
Just put the generator down, let it charge, take the two units, the salvage units you have to repair out, and come home, and then repair them. And the other part, you have to go and recover some cargo that was in the drop pod that's lost, and that's it.
Yes.
That's in the other end of the southern glacier, so where the polar
Okay.
bears are. That's like in 015, and you have to go there, and you have to fight a polar bear. There's like a mini boss polar bear that you have to fight, and then you pick up the cargo and you put that in there together with some fuel. You have to have a whole can of biofuel, and
Okay.
you put all of that in the drop pod, and when it's fully charged, you can click launch, and then it blasts off, and that's it. It's done.
Okay. Um, Sounds like the desert one. I think there was one mission that looked quite like this,
Uh huh.
with charging the pod. Oh no, I no, that's not in the desert. There's another one where you need to charge a pod with electricity, but that was in the snow. I was mistaken. Sorry. Okay then. So I'll have. Is there many bears at the same time or just one big?
Well, there are lots of bears in in the glacier in the southern glacier, so you just have to try and
Yes.
you have to try and avoid them. But just a sec, I've got a I've got a heavy sandstorm coming, and I need to find a cave to hide in. There should be a cave behind the waterfall just near where I am. So
Okay, you don't choose to get the armor, the station armor with you?
no, I did, but the storms on this mission are extra strong. The storms are like they're turned up to 11. You're going to take damage in these storms, whatever happens. They're rather dangerous. Like I've hardly been in a storm for very long, and my storm exposure is already almost at 50%. And the storm is still in the green zone. I'm not at the right place. Here we are. Okay, I found it at last. I have a bloody scorpion following me.
Scorpions? No, I never seen one.
Yeah, he poisoned me as well.
Is this a new feature?
And I've got a cave worm spitting at me. Just a second, I'm really close to fucking dying.
Ouch.
Oh, there's a textiles bench in here.
Yes, I did the first builds in here, so I get to fill my bottle, and then I've gone to the lake in the west of the point where you are, Um, it's in M4. But as there were so many animals out there, I thought I should first mine bones to get mass epoxy.
Okay, I've managed to kill everything and put my campfire down. I got some got some good soft meat off of the scorpion. That's about the only thing that they're really useful for. They give you a hell of a lot of soft meat, which is good for eating,
Yeah.
whether you dry it or cook it. That was close. That was close.
Actually, never. I just tried once to dry the meat, but that didn't work. I just put the meat on. Is there something else to do?
Yeah. You can't dry all of the meats.
Okay.
You can only dry the what is it? The T-bone, stringy meat, the
Okay.
soft meat. Um, what are the other ones? There's like 6 meats in total you can dry. The normal meat and bacon and fish. Those things you can't dry.
Okay. Thank you.
Lovely. Got some meat to eat. Are you gonna need this textiles bench?
Yes, but I guess I'll have to walk out. Just hope I won't be killed by a surprise bear behind the bushes,
No,
like I
but
just did.
I'm still in the desert. The textiles bench you left in the back of a cave. Are you going to need that at some point? Because it would be useful for me. I could,
No,
yeah,
you
I can.
can take it. That
Uh,
was just the first
okay, because
arrival build. I left it to waste.
I can.
I see you've got a friend incoming. That's the winner.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I didn't invite anyone.
Well,
I
I
did.
think he's gonna be happy to get the points later.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of people randomly joining on me.
Neither.
That's the reason why I wasn't really very actively looking for people on Steam for a long on Discord, sorry, for a long time. If I'm gonna play with someone, I want to be able to choose who I'm playing with and when. But just people randomly joining on you because they see that you're playing as well, I don't like that at all.
Oh, he left. I think I've set the thing to friends only, and my little brother got bored with the game, so he just got it out of his computer.
He left.
So
Okay.
now,
Well, he might be watching
basically,
my stream and he heard me talking about it. I'm not sure.
maybe.
Okay. I'll wait for morning also.
Yes,
It's 1:30 right now.
that's okay.
I'm not gonna have a
But well,
particularly.
basically, I only play alone now. But if you need some help for a mission, not just rescue, don't hesitate. You can
No.
call me whenever.
Yeah. Same. I do the same basically. I usually I usually finish the mission. Well, get close to mission completion, and then invite people in so they can share on the rewards. Like the last,
Nice.
well, yesterday's one. I did the unearthed research, and I just left it. So the only thing I had left to craft was the cave worm arrows,
Okay.
and then people joined. I finished mining, extracting the last exotics vein because there's 2 of them there, or 3. I can't remember. 3. There's 3 of them. I, I extracted the last one, and then when everyone had joined, when the server was full, then I got mission complete, and then everyone got the mission rewards as well.
Good thing they did that actually. The ability to join and not need an amount of time spent in the mission to
Yeah,
get the reward.
yeah, for sure. And I've got there was a group of 4 guys also doing this mission, and they what is it? 3 of them were online, and all 3 of them got killed. They were up in the north, in like
Oh,
in J3. They were going from the desert into the Riverlands, and they got jumped. There was some hyenas on one side from the desert, and then a bunch of wolves and a bear from the Riverlands on the other side,
oh,
and all 3 of them got killed. And I came in to rescue them, and they're still doing that mission. They've been doing that for like the last 10, 12 days. So
ouch.
whenever they complete that, I'll be getting the rewards from there as well.
Nice. Yeah, bears and wolves at the same time, it's kinda tricky.
Yeah.
Gotta get rid of the wolves first. Always happy when surviving it. But damn, yesterday I got killed twice by a oh, 3 times by a white bear. And I used to have a technique to beat them. It's just facing them, you just get a headshot and go right through their arrival. So you pass behind them, and usually you don't take a hit if you walk far enough from him. But yesterday, that did not happen. I took the hit as soon as I crossed him. I don't know why. There's an update on the behavior or what.
Ah, they've changed them. They've changed them.
Oh,
The way in which they attack has been changed, and also the way, because when they're coming at you, you have to jump out of the way a lot sooner than before. And even when you jumped out of the way, they turn around very quickly. They used to take a little while to like turn around and come back at you, but
yes.
they turn around sooner now. So you have to turn around and line up your second shot on them quicker. And if that wasn't enough, they've also got like 2 new ways of coming towards you. Because before it always used to be that they'd come straight at you, but now
Yes.
sometimes they'll go to like the left or the right to try and go around you, or they'll come in like a little V and like zigzag towards you. So you've got to pay more attention to how exactly they're attacking you, because they kind of they shake it up.
Okay.
Like one time they'll do this way, another time they'll do another way. They made them a little bit more difficult to joust, which makes it more interesting. But yeah, people are going to be dying a lot more often now.
Yes, I guess I'll have to avoid them now when playing solo in hardcore.
Well, I've got the
Hey,
workshop bow and some workshop arrows, so and in the desert I don't have to worry about them yet. Oh, but the area that you're in, that's just the forest. You said the Riverlands, but
yes,
that area is the crossover. That's just a normal forest.
just at the limit.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. There's sometimes a polar bear there where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it
He
was him
was
that.
behind the bushes.
Oh, it was him that killed you.
Oh, sorry, there's a storm there. I barely hear you.
Was it the polar bear that killed you?
Yes, yes, that was him. I was going out of the snow, and he was behind the bush. I wasn't very careful.
Yeah.
Didn't see him, and he got me.
There's what is it? If let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like between the beginning of the snow, roughly in K13, if you look at the map, between there and just in L14,
Yeah,
at the end of those rocks, if you look at the map, you can see the little black dots in the snow. At the end of that in the end of that area, that little stretch is maybe 200 meters long. In just in that little area, there's the possibility of 5 bears spawning. There's
yeah.
five polar bear spawn points there.
Before the update, I was used to farm bones on the bears
Yeah.
here, but I guess I won't do that anymore.
I can't see the cooling bandage in there. In my crafting menu, I only see the heat bandage. Oh, this is a
Have you-
no, no, never mind. It's a different character. I didn't unlock it with this one. I forgot to unlock it in the blueprints.
Okay.
I was wondering why don't I have the cooling bandage, but I hadn't unlocked it.
Never used it actually.
No, no, I've used it once or twice. It's not really not
Efficient.
not efficient. It's not really needed. One of the times I needed to use it was more or less a bit of an accident. It was the first time I went in after they did the change on the temperature. I was in the forest in my fur armor because I wear fur armor normally everywhere, and
Okay.
I started to overheat and I got the heat stroke and heat exhaustion just from wearing my fur armor in the forest. So
Damn.
I had to make one to cool myself down. Like I didn't
So
even.
you usually take a lot of stuff with you from the station, I guess. If you don't take the armor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I usually take like I take two adlift modules and two like the ones for extra weight and the ones for extra speed, so I can double up. And then I'll take like the red backpack and the green backpack, so I can choose if I'm going mining or if I'm going hunting. And
Okay, nice. Good idea. I just only pick the red one usually, but
um,
that's a good idea.
the green one's nice. If you're not mining, the green one gives you that extra resistance to falling,
Yeah.
and the movement speed, so you can run fast. So I
Oh,
like.
there's a speed too. Okay,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
didn't remember that. I'll think of it.
But I have to change the tactics on that now because they changed how the changed all of the stuff about temperature. So
Okay.
I can't wear the fur armor in the forest. I used to be able to wear the fur armor even in the desert. But oh god, what the hell?
Yes, many beasts around there. That's why I stayed here to farm bones.
There's a lot of them. Like a lot, a lot. There were like 7 or 8 of them.
Yes, I quickly got 300 epoxies.
Oh, and I got dysentery. Isn't that fun? In the desert, I think I'm going to get back to using a spear.
Oh,
Because at least the spear has a slightly longer distance. For the scorpions, you can just run backwards and stab them with the spear. Because the...
strange, I never crossed one. at a single scorpion in the game, I think. Is this new?
Yeah, it's brand new.
Okay. Never actually used the spear. At first I tried it because of the wolves, but when you try the knife, then you don't want to touch it anymore.
Oh, for sure. But with the scorpion, because they've got a fairly good reach, like if you try and kill them with a knife, they can hit you with their stinger, or they can pinch you with the pincers. So getting that close to them, they can do some significant damage. So I think I'm gonna
Okay,
try.
their poison is more potent than worm cage. The
It's no, it's the same. It's the same stuff, but you
okay.
could. And until now, what is it? I'd probably fought against 50 or 60 scorpions, if not more, and
Oh,
I'd only ever been poisoned like once. But when I was on this drop right now, the first scorpion I came across when I was trying to get in that cave, he hit me once and poisoned me straight away. So maybe I was just lucky. I don't know, but so far in my experience, the poison is relatively rare, and it's the same strength as the one that you get from like the fish and the cave worms.
okay. Well, that's too dangerous then. I always kill the cave worms with arrows, but once I've tried to kill them with a knife, I always do that now. I
Yeah.
just have to run to them.
And the only time I'll shoot them with the bow is if I know I'm not going to get there in time.
Yep.
Oh, I need to get some more fiber and some more wood. It's the first time in a long time that I've made a spear.
I don't even know if I've unlocked it on this character.
Oh, but
Anyway, I think that's strange they didn't get so used to the blueprint points you have. As long as your character is stuffed, you don't need them anymore, and that there's no use for it.
yeah, no, I was hoping that maybe they would add like an exchange. If we could exchange like 50 blueprint points for one talent point,
Yes,
because then there'd
that would.
at least be some point of continuing to level up.
Yes, that would have been a great idea.
Because I've got 197 blueprint points on this character now, and I've unlocked everything.
I think I'm almost at the same points with this one. Actually, we can get. Okay, I just only have access to the map, that's why. Oh, sorry, I'm just plugging my headset back. Did you say just say something?
No,
Or
no, no, no.
okay.
I'm just running.
Talking about the game earlier, I thought I was wondering what are the news in your country? How do you hear about the Ukrainian crisis?
Oh, I haven't really been keeping up to date about it anymore. When it first started, I was watching a lot of stuff on the internet and what have you, but I haven't really checked up about it for probably a week at least now. And I don't really watch. I don't watch normal television here because it's always a load of bollocks. So like day to day,
Me too.
don't don't really hear much about it at all. But
Yes.
I've heard that our prime minister is causing a bit of an issue with NATO of like refusing certain things or not wanting to do certain things, which I can kind of understand because of the position that Hungary's in, being uh, a direct neighbor to the Ukraine, and um, we also have multiple U.S. Bases here, like our uh, military base in a place called
Yep.
Papa. That's where quite a lot of the guys that are normally stationed in like Regensburg in Germany and Mannheim and other places that are part of the old Ironsides unit. A lot of them are here. They've got the Apache helicopters and Black Hawks and some jets stationed here, as well as at our military base in Kaposhvar. And they're part of like the joint US NATO forces that the US have here. So we've got enough in the country to be uh, what is it? Give it,
Target.
yeah. Given our proximity to Ukraine to be a legitimate target. So I kind of understand our prime minister's thinking, but
Yes.
it
Us
had,
too in France. They say they send some defensive weapon, but nobody really wants to get him.
yeah.
So
No, I
who
can,
knows?
yeah. We'll see. Putin's not going to give up for sure. I mean, he started what he started for a reason.
Yes.
He's just gonna keep throwing. He's gonna keep throwing soldiers at it until it gets to a point where it, he doesn't have enough.
Well, somehow NATO got it coming, pushing further and further the limits to Russia. That was kind of a tricky game, but still, the guy seems pretty crazy. But how to see to read between the lines in this
Yeah,
game that doesn't
and
because it probably lies.
the problem is the lies and the disinformation is coming from both sides. So
Yes.
you really don't know what's going on because not long after everything started, maybe like 2 weeks into what was going on, things started to surface about why Putin was there, and primarily it's because he wants Ukraine back. But one of the other prime reasons, but like the secondary objectives, was the fact that they allegedly had biological labs that
Oh,
are funded by America as well as other people in Ukraine, and people were denying it, but then information very quickly came out that it's true. So
okay.
they have like a dozen laboratories in the Ukraine that, among other things, are actually working on biological weapons,
Damn.
and that's
I
funded
didn't hear of it.
and
I guess
What you won't, because
French medias.
exactly, yeah, the mainstream media is silent on it, because one side says this is misinformation, but then um, what is it? Some journalists found out that literally the same day that Russia came out with that information, Americans were scrambling to try and remove the information from their websites. It was literally it was documented on a bunch of the American government's different departments' websites of what laboratories and where were a part of what kinds of research, and they
Oh,
as quickly as possible tried to get online and delete as much information as they possibly could. But it was legit. He's basically doing three things: taking back Ukraine, stopping the West's influence in Ukraine with things like the biological weapons systems, and trying to take over as many, if not all, of the nuclear power plants in the Ukraine, because they have 12, they have 11 or 12,
yes.
and if he was able to control those, then one, he's got a very easy place to put like operational bases. Because imagine if you have like an army base directly next to
Yes.
a nuclear power plant, who the fuck is going to attack that place and risk damaging the nuclear power plant? It's like it's the prime location to put a forward operating base, because then no one would want to counter attack just in case they damage the power plant and cause a meltdown, which would affect the whole of
Yes.
Europe. so, it's that.
Oh, the whole Europe, like we said in France for Chernobyl, they said to us, there's no problem because the clouds did not pass the mountains.
Yeah, of course.
Actually, big bullshits, but they're right. There's a big problem in France with the medias. They are all owned by a few billionaires,
Oh, believe me, it's
and
this.
you
It's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing in America, and we have very similar problems as well. You've really got to be careful where you get your information from and who you believe. It's completely out of control.
yep, only hear from liberals' point of view. And when I say liberals, I mean neoliberals like right wing and money, 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 money. They're actually attacking all of social rights. We had a big crisis with the hospital system and the COVID because they kept suppressing beds and beds and trying to say that melting two hospitals in one will be enough. But when you get in the back country, you have no more healthcare. That's becoming a real problem, and they still want to go this way. Saying, oh, we've got to be attractive for big business, but wow,
Yeah, I mean, they've. The problem is some of these big tech companies have got a lot of things under their control. So
basically almost everything.
yeah,
Mm.
I mean, regardless of what happens with Ukraine, let's say that even there's like a positive outcome. And what can you imagine a positive outcome being?
A positive outcome would
Would
be
be
kind of
Russia giving up because it's a war of attrition and they have to start putting too much into it and they can't afford it anymore. But I don't really see that happening, because eventually China will join them, and then it will probably turn very bad. But let's say it would be positive, and by some miracle, America is able to put enough is able to convince China not to further get involved in the whole thing.
oh yeah, well,
But then it would still be at least a decade before things start to, like relations and everything else, start to normalize between everyone. So
That's gonna be a big problem because I don't really think that the US will try to pacify their relationships with China. They like a hurt animal. They are losing their power over the world,
yeah.
and they are becoming very aggressive, especially when it comes to business, with the extraterritorial laws on the dollar thing, and they are attacking big companies for for a long time. In France, we have that problem a lot. They got Alstom. I don't know if you know the company Alstom, which
Alstrom,
basic Alstom, Tom.
Tom.
Um,
Oh, I'm not familiar with. No, no.
that basically runs turbines, very powerful turbines, the most potent actually in the world, and
Oh, for things
they
like
they
windmills and other power
oh
generation.
for things like our nuclear submarines too,
Oh, okay.
and that's the point where there was corruption stories that are beginning to leak on how it happened a few years ago, and that's really not friendly from an ally. They are just tearing our big companies down pieces to pieces with fusion acquisition moves, all financial, and they use their extraterritorial laws to threaten and to get what they want. So basically, we got fucked. We'll buy back the how do you call that? In French, we call it a brevet. It's when you discover something, you deposit your discover, and it's yours.
Uh-huh.
If only you can make it, otherwise
Oh,
you
like a
have to
pat,
pay.
like a patent.
Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know, but
I think it's.
that's probably it.
And then if anyone else wants to use that or make it, then they have to pay a royalty fee on it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's a patent. Yeah.
Um, we got this problem, so we'll have to buy it twice the price we sold it.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of these things work. Like a lot of people didn't know, but a lot of people don't know. But the guy that made Red Bull, the
Oh,
I can't remember his first name. His second name is Mateschitz.
yeah,
The guy that made it, uh, he didn't actually make it. He was in like Thailand or some other place, and
yeah,
there was a drink that a taxi driver had made that was very popular among the taxi drivers to keep themselves awake throughout the night shift.
yep,
And it was also called Red Bull, and it was in a little flat gold can, but it wasn't carbonated, so it didn't have bubbles in it. But it was basically the same thing. And Mateschitz realized there's nothing like that in Europe, and he got the recipe for it and everything to start producing it. But he put it in a different style can, and that slim can hadn't existed anywhere else before. No one else made anything in that, and he patented that can, and he had the patent on it. I think he still holds the patent on it for some time, but he has the patent on that can. So all the other companies, like the Pepsi company and Coca-Cola company and anyone else that makes drinks in that similar slim, the 330 milliliter can, has to pay royalties for him. So he's making stupid amounts of money on Red Bull to begin with, and anyone else that wants to make something in a can similar to that has to pay him royalties,
damn.
which is quite a clever way of going about it.
Yeah, but still, that shows us how crazy is the world we're living in.
Yeah.
Did you know that the Neanderthal, um, yeah, I think that's the same in English, Neanderthal, I'm talking about primal ages.
The what? Sorry.
Neanderthal, like caveman back in the time, uh, primal times,
Yeah.
where we were just wearing furs.
Yeah.
There's a point in France in the west, sorry, near the Pyrenees, where we discovered a location where people from the Germany to Italy and the Western Balkans to the south of Spain, they had this rendezvous point where they would meet each and every year at the same date, traveling across countries to share their knowledge, what they have learned and discovered all the year. This was a big travel with many risks, and still every year they came here to share their knowledge. So they were basically risking to send people for this risky travel and share, and risking lives of the people staying back as well, just to share. And now we are in this system where you have to pay to use for this pattern thing. That's so crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
I think basically cavemen were more civilized than we are.
oh, for sure. For sure.
But who knows, maybe we'll go for a third big war and we'll get back to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever. The good thing is, with the climate change and all, if that all goes wrong because we don't do enough, even the rich guys in their bunkers and or islands won't be able to survive either. And for once, they'll be in the same shit we have our feet in.
Oh, I don't agree, unfortunately. Like they're they've got they've got significant enough resources, and some of the truly rich people have bunkers that we don't even know about, where they're going to be able to keep themselves alive for like literally at least a decade. So
Yeah,
if anyone, those people are going to be able to weather the storm, and then mankind is just going to be stuck in the same situation that they're in now, if not even worse, when everyone comes out of their bunker and these wealthy people start to take over control, because they'll have things stockpiled away. They'll have certain resources that the people trying to build up a new civilization and bring humanity back to life will need, and they'll be able to control them all over again. Unfortunately.
yes, but then they will have to survive long enough because
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
think of it, if the water goes up. In France, for example, we have many nuclear stations who will be at risk. At least two of them will be underwater, so we'll have to dismantle them before it goes up. There's this kind of things. Warming, there's gonna be a big food crisis. So even with autonomous farms in bunkers or islands and so, even if they manage to survive for a while, what is it gonna be on the continents? Maybe Russia will be spared, a part of China too, maybe a little part of mm, the US, mostly around Canada. But what else? And even if so, um, there's still the pollution and so on problems that mm, if we go too far, I don't think we can go back.
oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
So the point will be, will there be people to rule when they get out of their
Yeah,
bunkers?
yeah. Will they have anything to rule over at all? Yeah, that's a good point. But I'm a little bit of a crazy person in that regard. If I think if if things really were to escalate towards the point of World War III, and we had a real risk of like a nuclear war or something breaking out, I honestly put my hands together and hope and pray that fucking aliens intervene before that happens.
That will be funny. That will be funny. I'm not a great believer of all these alien things, but yesterday I was listening to an interview of a former director of the intelligentsia in France.
Hmm.
Um, there was a guy on the stream who asked him about UFOs, and to my surprise, the guy answered it. Um, I I am very skeptical about all of this kind of things, but the guy answered that there are still things we are wondering. Oh, is it the Chinese? Is it the Americans who are testing? But everyone is getting to a point where they are looking for whose thing is it,
Yeah.
and still looking for nobody really knows. Most of the time we find an explanation, but still I thought that these were only aerial things we can see in the sky, but apparently there is also UFOs, but not flying just into the water. In the sea,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we see things too. So that's
No,
strange.
I believe it 100% because I've seen things.
Oh,
I've been in the army, and
yeah.
I've seen jets, I've seen helicopters, I've seen drones, I've seen all kinds of different things that fly in the air, and
Hmm.
I know what they look like during the day, at night, and whatever. Yeah. So if I'm in the air and I see something, I can with very strong confidence be able to tell you what it is just from like
Yeah.
the flashing lights on it or whatever. Yeah. And there are certain things in the sky I've seen that I have absolutely zero explanation for,
Yes.
and I've seen it on at least two different occasions. So I'm sure they exist because I'm in the camp of people that says like I think it's a little arrogant to think that we're the only things that exist, like we're the only
Oh,
intelligence to exist in the universe, and if that's the
probably
case,
not. Yes, but
then
there's still the Fermi paradox that makes travel. Um, at least we can't understand how is it possible to cross that much distance.
no, okay, I know, but think about back in the caveman times.
Yep.
If they wanted to get somewhere, they'd walk or maybe they'd get on a horse, yeah, and they'd travel. But then when they got to water, they'd make a boat. But after a certain point, they wouldn't be able to go very far because the boat would get overturned. You know, they didn't have big enough boats. But then once they had big enough boats, they started to go exploring, and then
Yeah.
then they discovered other continents, and then when we'd conquered more or less, you know, the land with certain vehicles and the sea with certain vehicles, then we started to look towards the sky. And then we made aeroplanes, and then when we wanted to go further, we made rockets. So at some point, even in our history, which is very short, we've always said, oh, you know, there was a time when they said that going past the sound barrier would be impossible,
Yes.
and now we have jets. You know, they had okay for a short period of time, but we had I mean, Air France had their version of the Concorde, and British Airways, yeah, a commercial passenger liner that went above the
Hmm.
speed of sound. So we're always, you know, uh, I'm a little cautious of scientists that very definitively say certain things aren't possible when science itself is, you know, discovering new things every single day.
New
And
boundaries. Yeah.
exactly. So I mean,
Yeah. But
we don't know now whether it's really possible to go faster than the speed of light, or even at the speed of light. You know, maybe it will take us 50 or 100 or 500 years, but you know, we might find a solution to it. And when you look at how old the universe is and how long a lot of other civilizations might have been around, it's very easy to come to the conclusion that they might have had enough time to solve those problems that we're still in our infancy at looking at.
Yeah. That somehow people worked on the possibilities relatively to energy, and somehow there's still this problem. If you want to go multiplanetary spaces, you have to get a really big amount of energy, unless you discover something else like exploiting dark matter or so. But we didn't find any traces of a Dyson sphere anywhere. Um, I
Well, so
I'm a
far,
bit
so far.
so far. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I am a bit. Mm, I don't say that can't exist, but I'm
No,
still a bit skeptical because all of these things, why would extraterrestrial aliens basically just go around them, around us, and never show themselves to us? That's that's strange to me. If you get to another planet where there is
are you
another
are you
form of life.
are you familiar with Star Trek?
Oh, I'm getting to it. I've seen a few when I was a kid, but I started to watch the latest ones.
Okay. If we'll set down a couple of like what ifs. Yeah. Uh, we're currently at the level of technology that we're at. Yeah, we think we're the end all be all of everything, that we're like the pinnacle of technology. Let's say, what if faster than light travel is possible? And what if that faster than light or extra dimensional or whatever you want to call it travel is already been met by other civilizations out in the universe? Yeah,
Yes.
let's say if those things are possible and they exist,
Mm-hmm.
then given our level of technology at the moment, we to other civilizations would look basically like cavemen look to us, or even ants look like to us. And the
So
reason
you're
the reason why I bring up Star Trek is Star Trek, the United Federation of Planets, has a charter of directives, and
yeah,
their prime directive is the very first rule is they do not interfere in other
yeah,
civilizations in a way that could affect their evolution. And if aliens came to us at our level of technology, with their level of technology, and started to give us things which we could, possibly turn into weapons or other things,
yes,
it would affect the way in which we would naturally evolve, and and the technology, the change in a level of technology affects not just our quality of life, but it also would affect the outcome of our social evolution,
yes, yes.
because
I mean,
you have to reach a level of emotional maturity.
yes,
You have to there's the IQ and EQ. There's how clever you are, and then how like street smart
yes,
you are. You have to reach a certain level with both to be able to be, truly civilized. And I
yep,
think if those aliens really exist, the reason they haven't made themselves aware to us is because they think that we're still too young on a whole
yes,
to be able
probably.
to handle everything.
Yes, even as we are thinking we are not evolved enough
No,
emotionally
exactly,
speaking.
exactly. I mean, if we think that of ourselves, then how would how would a technologically and otherwise in all other areas more intelligent civilization think about us?
Yes, they're probably laughing at us.
And the reason why I say I really hope that the aliens come and intervene, if there was a World War III, is I really have hope that we're at enough of a level that then they would, almost take pity on us and say, well,
Yes,
they've reached such a level of technology, it would be a great
and it
shame.
would be a shame for him to disappear.
Exactly, exactly. Then they would come and intervene and maybe do the minimum to keep us going so that it wouldn't be starting from fresh again, that at least we could continue. And hopefully that kind of intervention, when particularly in things like religion and other issues, other social issues, would become less and less and go in different directions when people realize that the magnitude of things going on, and
Yep.
the fact that we then would have proof that we're not alone in the universe. Maybe then pe- things would start to go
Yep.
in a different direction, and people would respect each other more and do things differently. But yeah, that's
Yes, and stop talking about prophets and so on, because,
yeah.
like, somehow I think we are going backwards right now.
Oh, for sure.
In our country, there is this thing where the right wing for like 30 years now are taking it all on the Muslim people, and that destroyed a whole generation that's going mad now, and we have a comeback from integrists as a response of it, and that's quite natural when you say to a part of your people, "You're not like us. You are worse. Mm, You create your own monsters."
Yeah. Well, but
And
if you look at it over a long
yep,
enough, if you look at it over a long enough timeline, you could really say that um, the Crusades never really
oh
end.
yeah,
That they never really ended. Just
I totally agree.
as time went on, that
I
war
totally agree.
that war that was being waged against certain types of religion has just changed forms, because there's dozens of different ways of making war and influencing a social agenda. It's just
Yep,
it's taken on a different form. It's
soft power all
it,
around.
it's no longer crusaders going in their set of armor and their swords and their arrows. Yeah, it's just changed to a different type of warfare. But as far as I can tell, the crusades never really ended. They just went about it differently, and it's a
I
shame.
totally agree.
And it's a shame.
Oh yeah, when you hear that American billionaires are, most of them are Catholic integrists, that's kind of frightening. Thinking that people think they are chosen ones just because they are rich. Thinking that all of the three big religions have been, their uh, faith book, like Bible and so, uh, took like 200 to 400 years to be written. How can we still think there was one man that received the world of gods? That's stupid. I've worked. I had many jobs indeed, but in all that I did psychology study, psychopathology,
Hmm.
and and I've stopped it at the end and worked as a specialized educator for like 15 years now.
Uh-huh.
So basically, I wanted become before becoming a shrink, I wanted to see it all about the education, about the care, about the elders, about handicap, about
Hmm. Hmm.
madness, and I've gone through almost all of it. And I've worked in normal education as well with really young children, and that reminds me when you were in school and you get into the how do you call it? The space where the children play.
The playground.
Playgrounds, yeah. Thank you. That sounds a lot like it to me. Like, this is our game. You are not in our game, and
Yeah.
we are good because we are in this game. But well,
It it
when
just
will we stop to play a game and try to read the game we are in? Even
yeah.
if religions try to
It's the,
pretend they are telling it, but
it's the same thing, but again, it just takes different forms. On the playground, we'd pull each other's hair or hit you,
yeah,
or call names or whatever. But as you grow up, that playground mentality never really leaves people, and they just start to do the same thing, just in different ways.
exactly. And that's a shame that psychology doesn't tells much more about why. We always put it on family, violence, and things like that. But when it gets to violence analysis, you can count on social researchers to get the points, but when we think about pathology, even in group pathology, we don't really point the domination of the wealthiest. And then much shame because I think there's a lot to do about this to determine how their fantasies, the powerful ones, um, like shaping the whole culture. I don't know if that was clear.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. Well,
I've got the thing I keep telling all around is as above, so below.
yeah, yeah.
And that's a point. I found it very accurate because you can talk about almost everything in our lives and make a comparison to these points.
The thing is, I think that the people that the people that experience any kind of struggle in their life, like
Yeah.
the people that are less well off, that not necessarily just poor people, but just people that are less well off and they have a little bit more struggle in their lives. The ones that really have a decent level of what I was talking about earlier, that emotional intelligence as well as actual intelligence, they 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 tend to be ones that are a lot more fair, a lot more understanding, and um, a lot more thankful for things, because
Yeah.
they come from a place where things aren't easy, and they learn a much stronger appreciation for things. And the problem is not enough of people from those kinds of backgrounds uh, make it up into the higher levels to
Yeah.
help. And even if they do, a lot of them change and assimilate
Yes.
into the same kind of, asshole that's already there, and forget about where they came from, and forget about, what it's really like to be in the position that they were previously in. And not enough of them really get to a high enough level and stay the same kind of humble person they were to help affect any change at the higher levels. If there
Yes.
if there was if there were if more rich people had struggle, yeah, they'd understand things and they'd see things very differently than they do now. And yeah, they've got their own kinds of struggle, but they're more like first world problems. They've got their own internal politics, but that's completely different, and that shapes people in a completely different way. But if there were more people that had real struggle in their lives, then they'd be very, very different, and the world would be a very different place.
Oh, I think too. Um, and they think there is actually one of our politicians that for a while now he talks about lawfare, meaning all the left-wing people in the world, especially in the South America, but it came also to Europe. Um, um, Somehow the right wing uses the law to how do you say it when you got pursuits suits on people with not really any charges that are real, like Lula in Brazil. You know, maybe that the guy got condemned because of so-called corruption. That they were telling he got an apartment, a big apartment, as a corruption gift, but the the so-called apartment was never found.
Uh
But
huh.
still, the guy spent 4 years in prison, or maybe a little more. And same things are coming up in France too. I don't know if you heard about the guy. He's called Jean-Luc Mélenchon.
No, no.
Not yet. He's a former socialist. He was a Trotskyist even before, but he created a new party. And when came the last elections, they tried to do the same thing as soon as Emmanuel Macron got the power. they had how how do you say it? Um, Perquisitions. You know, when you send police to search places,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
uh, and they used a force that is almost used only for terrorists and really big kind of stuff. There was really a big force, and they found nothing. But in the media, you heard about it for like a week or two, and maybe more, because the guy reacted very bad when he came to this his party's place and wanted to get in. He had the right. He was the chief of his party. He had the right to be here while they were searching, but they denied it to him. And so he got angry, and they were all pointing at him and like, look how the guy is angry. He's probably a future dictator, and so on. Everything that's going in left wing is pointed like beasts. Uh, that's and the more time goes on, the the more they don't have any complex with that. You have to personify and to disqualify
Yeah. No,
every single people who will talk about sharing more, reducing inequalities, and so on. Every one of them is attacked.
the problem is if they can't find anything on you, like you can be a literal saint. Yeah, you could be the next Jesus fucking Christ. But
Yeah,
if you start to get to a position of power where they feel threatened in any way, they'll just create something. It doesn't matter.
yes,
You could be the cleanest person on the face of the planet. If they feel threatened, then they'll just create something to get rid of you or make you a social pariah. You know, make up allegations of some outlandish stuff that you're a pedophile or you made uh, uh, sexual advances on people or anything.
yeah,
They'll try and destroy your character, and that's a pretty good telltale sign, as far as I'm concerned, when a certain side starts to come out saying, "Oh, look, this person is doing this and this and this." Yeah, after maybe decades of them not even giving a shit about who that person is. If all of a sudden stuff starts to come out, yeah, it's a pretty good sign that one, those things aren't true, and that person probably is doing something that is against what the mainstream wants to happen. And it's usually those people that when something like that would happen, I'd go and do a little bit of personal research as to, okay, who is this person really? What are they doing? What are they getting involved in? Why why have they suddenly become a problem for the mainstream? And when you look into it in that way, more often than not, it's because they're actually making uh, real progress in changing people's minds to bring them back to critical thinking and to have common sense and think for themselves. Because the more control that they lose over people, yeah, the more dangerous it is for them, because then people will start to wake up and realize that what their bullshit is really about.
well, I think that's the only hope that remains of a change.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably heard about the yellow jackets in France,
No, no.
like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Very big protests, people wearing yellow jackets, you know, like the one you're wearing when you got into an accident in the road.
Oh, the safety jacket.
Yeah, this was almost a revolution because people started to gather at how do you say that, when roads cross and you have a circle to choose your way. English thing.
Just a sec. Sorry, I
Oh,
had some wolves attacking me.
oh, sorry.
Oh, I found this little base you made at the bottom of the hill. It's almost completely destroyed. I'll see if I can make a hammer and repair it.
Oh, you don't know where. You don't have to. That was just to for the night.
Oh,
I think.
it'll be a nice place just to like get my shit together.
Yeah. Anyway, basically the revolt got tamed with anti-terrorist weapons called LBD. Maybe you've heard of it. That's rubber balls launched at 300 kilometers per hour,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and there are almost 30 people that lost an eye. Many have lost their hands on grenades. That was crazy, and they were saying no, there is absolutely no police violence. Very big propaganda, and still our president is going, if he's elected back, because you know propaganda, he still has many people who are ready to vote for him. He's gonna go further and further in attacking social structures and poor people, always making them pay. I wish in France we've got a history that would make us really better than we are, and we are going backwards and backwards. Really frightened about what could happen for the next elections in like what 2 weeks now. The, they put the far right wing as a scarecrow for years and years now, but they only made it more potent.
Oh, exactly the same thing is happening in America now. Exactly the same thing is happening in America.
Yep.
People are starting to wake up to what well the new conservatives. Yeah, the old conservatives are just as bad as the old Democrats, but the new conservatives are starting to help people wake up to what it is that these people are really all about, and more people, if not conservative, they're starting to become much more uh, centrist.
Aggressive.
They're starting to become more centrist, even if they don't become more left wing or liberal. And it's gonna start causing issues for the Democrats in America very soon. But I'm kind of happy
Yeah.
about it because the Democrats have been the cause of a lot of the very serious issues in America for a long time. So it's about time that things starting to change.
Yeah.
But and there are bad actors on both sides. You know, I'm not saying that all conservatives are good and all Democrats are bad. It's been all over the place. There's bad actors on both sides, but the problem
My
is more and
yeah.
more more Democrats have been in positions of power where they've done very little to make real change than conservatives have over the years. They both
Well,
and they both do it for different reasons. But from what I can tell, the Democrats have been the ones leaning more towards trying to change things for their own good to create this so-called new world order, and and conservatives have been trying to do it to try and one make as much money for themselves, but at the same time put effort in to help change and improve things for people in general. Yeah, because they don't look at people as idiots and think that they can get away with all kinds of things forever. Yeah, they realize, you know, to bring themselves up, they have to do as much to bring others up as well. Yeah, but they try and keep it to a minimum. You know, they'll do every
mm,
they'll do what they can to bring others up, but not so quickly that they then start to cause a problem for them. But they do it in a much more equal balance than the Democrats tend to do.
well, my point about I don't I followed a bit about the U.S. Politics, but somehow I think that we got contaminated in France too. Like you know, when you are talking about Democrats, I think that's almost the same as the Socialist Party in France.
Uh huh.
That is no more a Socialist Party. party. I mean, Democrats aren't real Democrats
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
So that's the point. The left wing became a right wing too, and they are all trying to call themselves what they want to appear as, but all are almost about the same businesses,
yeah,
excepted that right wing tends to look at pariahs and like this is their fault, pointing at always um, poor people category, we heard Trump about Mexicans in France. That's it's so boring. The political debate isn't real
yeah,
in this thing. You know, in France, the right wing is called the Republicans as well, but that's almost like a child game. This is not our psychotic one. This is not because you call yourself as this or that you really are. And who tells that others aren't the same thing too? I mean, who isn't a Republican? Who isn't a Democrat? Everybody is. Basically, if you think that we are still in democracy, everybody is Republican and Democrat. That's fucking stupid. But that's my point of view. I
no,
don't
I
really
understand.
know the struggle about America, but somehow I I think from what I've seen and heard that this conflict is getting more and more radicalized. Seriously, I don't know if this is propaganda or not, but like the Capitol invasion and
Oh, the
looks that
The Democrats are grasping at straws with that. That was nowhere near as big as as the Democrats are trying to make it out. It's just they don't really have anything. They don't have anything else to point towards.
yeah, but still so many people with arms, weapons that man, find it somehow a little bit frightening that to think that who will come up uh, to the power if people really took their weapon and tried to get the power back, who will be in place? And that's what frightens me. Because how how to know which lines of power will be drawn, which are the ones influencing behind all of this?
Yeah, and it's the big problem that both sides have at the moment. But the Democrats are definitely losing a lot more ground than the Republicans. I'll be up to revive you in a minute. I'm just waiting for this storm to be over because
Yes, yes,
the
you're
pla-
right. If you
the
cross a bear, that will be quite a problem.
the place that I repaired is being hit by lightning. So at least I've got a
Oh,
place to take shelter. That's okay. I've got a fire whacker. I put the fire out twice already. Once the storm is over, I'll repair it and I'll come up and revive you. Do you have food on you to heal yourself when I revive you?
I think I've still got meat
Okay. Oh, because
and bandages and so.
I've got a bunch of bacon.
Uh,
You can
it really,
you can switch
yeah.
viewpoints. You can actually see what I'm doing.
Oh,
If you like if
yes.
you view your
I
body.
was on a map, but I
Okay.
clicked. Oh, I forgot I've built a stuff for the oxide.
I didn't bring the oxygen can with me because I thought I'd be okay going off of oxide. If I'd brought it with me, then I could refill it now.
maybe there is leather in the bench. You can take a look.
Oh yeah, I'll make an oxygen bladder. Yeah, I need to wait and repair the house because it doesn't have shelter now. I usually just let things degrade as much as they're gonna, because once the sound is stopped, it's not cracking anymore. Then it's not going to take damage. Now I can repair it, and I only have to repair it once. If you keep repairing while the storm is going, it'll just keep taking damage. Like a bunch of people's streams I watch, and throughout the storm, all they're doing is non-stop repairing. You don't need to. You just wait until the storm is over, repair everything once, and that's it. You're good.
Yes, I'm just looking at the constructions inside to know when to repair, when it begins to get hit.
Yeah.
That's the moment.
Okay, I'll make an oxygen bladder. Put some oxide. There we go. Yeah, I completely forgot about the oxygen bladder. I'm so used to using the can now.
Yeah.
All of the
Me too.
original lower level old school stuff you completely forget about after a while.
And sometimes you forget to fill it up when you have it.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, it's... Let me go back. Change my audio. I always turn the ambient volume down when there's a storm, so I don't hear the annoying, very loud wind. Oh, I think I might be getting disconnected. Can you hear me?
Any mercy?
Yeah, hey, sorry, I'm back. I lost connection for some reason. My internet dropped out for a second.
Oh, that.
I'm just joining up now.
Why is it ringing? I'm still in the conversation, and I can't.
Do you
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear you double. I can hear you. I can't hear you now. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Oh.
Oh, now I can. Now I can.
Yes.
Okay.
That always takes a few moments to be effective.
Okay.
Oh. I hear it ring. Did it stop again? Hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I can
guess not.
I can hear you.
What the fuck?
I can hear you.
Okay. I can't.
That's
Strange. Maybe I'll stop it and you start the vocal again. Maybe that will work.
okay.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, again. I don't hear you anymore.
Let's
I thought with the years they have stabilized the vocal, but still there is problem again. Okay, launch Discord. Uh, what the
Oh, I've got you on Discord already, don't I? Yeah, here you are.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Okay,
now.
that's good. I can hear you.
Probably more efficient.
Yeah, probably. I have to use push to talk here. So if I'm not talking, it's because I'm in the middle of something and I can't push the button.
Okay, no problem. I've got no bears around.
Oh, I'm slowly approaching because there's like 3 places they can spawn just here, so
Yes,
I'll keep my eyes and ears open. Because
you do well.
90% of the time I can easily hear a bear before I see it, so I tend to just keep my ears open. Oh, I see
I
you
see you.
right there. Okay.
No bears. Whew, thank you. Ha.
You're welcome.
Oh, just got carrots and beer.
Oh,
So,
I've got a bunch of all different types of meats if you want something to heal up.
yes, that will be great.
There's some bacon
Just bacon, that will be great.
and there's a cooked soft meat. This is good stuff. The cooked soft meat. It's got some
Okay,
good buffs on it.
I've already got beers and carrots, but thank you. That gives much help.
There you're welcome.
Better now.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Where are you off? There's still you've got some stuff in the overflow bag. There's a
Oh,
compound bow here.
yes.
Where
Thanks.
where is your main base?
My main base is in the desert, right at what was uh,
Where the exotics were?
the lake at K4 M14. That's quite far. Have to remember now what I was doing. Okay, I got the cans, but uh, what did I forget? Why was I here? Forgot. Anyway, let's just get out of the way. Maybe unless you want to stay in the mission and do it with me.
Oh, if it's okay, I was going to go back to my other one because I was in the middle of doing the brand new mission with the scorpions.
Okay, okay, no problem. I think I can take it from here. I'll just have to remember where what I was doing exactly.
No, I asked where the main base is because I'll go back there and leave my character. So if you need help again, I can just log in.
Okay, okay, and there are some materials if you. I think I always put spared arrows and stuff, and a
Okay,
bow,
but
and so on. So
it's by the lake at M4.
yeah, let me take a last. Yes, M4
Okay, cool.
on the east side, northeast side of the
Okay,
lake.
okay, cool. I'll make my way back there and I'll chill. And if you need help again, then just let me know, and then I can come out and come and rescue.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ah, no problem.
Okay, I think I'll go back in the snow because if I've got the cans, maybe that's because I was mining. Yes, I've got all of it. I was about to mine. I'll get slower and then.
You know where the exotics vein is here?
Yes, yes, I've spotted them all
Okay,
before I
cool.
get back with material. You were saying you were in the military. Are you still working in it, or did you stop?
No, no. In Hungary, years ago, they used to have mandatory service,
Yeah,
like they do in Israel. Like everyone between the age of, well, usually the oldest they'd usually take people was like 30, but
yeah.
between the ages of 18 and like 25, they would call you in and you had to do like X amount of military service. When I went, it was only 9 months, but just before that, it was still like a year. So they give you like basic training, how to use a weapon, and communication strategies and all that kind of stuff. And
Okay,
I was in communications for most of my time while I was there because of the English language.
yes.
The base that I was on was a NATO compliant base, and
Okay,
because I can speak English, I was put in communications, and I worked a lot. I was manning the radios for the emergency channels. So if there were like NATO operations that were taking place in our area of operation over Hungary, if anyone had like an emergency or something, I'd be manning the channel, listening to. Well, it was basically just listening to static 90% of the time. But if anyone had an emergency, they would switch to that channel and ask for help or send Mayday or whatever, and that's where I
okay,
was. We went on an interesting exercise with the Americans. I got to meet a whole bunch of them. It was a live fire exercise. What one part of it was mainly to how do you call it in English? I can't even think of what you call it in English. It was like a recruiting thing. Like the job centers all over the country would bring people with by bus, and they'd put on a big display of how cool the military is to get people to join up. And then the other part of it was an actual exercise for practice.
okay.
It was really cool seeing like the Black Hawks and the Apaches in the air. They're they're definitely a sight to see.
Not seen much in my life. But yeah, being on the ground must be interesting.
I was gonna stay because at the end towards the end you do get the option to stay on for 3 or 5 years, like sign a contract for 3 or 5 years, and then you get more intense training and they take you different places and you have the opportunity to go overseas and that kind of stuff. But at the time, I was working in the warehouse, and
Hmm.
I made more money working. Well, I made about 3 times as much money working in the warehouse as a forklift driver and doing other things than I did in the military. And even though I spoke a language, and even though certain different things that would have got me extra benefits in the army, I would have been making significantly less money in the army than what I was able to at the time. So I
Yes.
was like, there's I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give 5 years of my life at the end of it to then not have as much to show for it if I was just in a normal job.
Yes, good choice then. That's the reason why I'm switching jobs once again. I've got a cooker degree, I've got a printer degree. After that, I'll do all the psychology stuff and so, but working in social jobs don't pay money. You don't get any.
Oh,
So,
it's different in America because I mean at least they get free education to a certain degree. They've got a decent level of healthcare, especially if they get sent overseas. Then they get like danger pay and all that, and you've got very little that you really need to spend money on while you're in the army. You get housing, you get fed, you get clothes. Yeah, so you have to you don't really have a lot to spend your money on other than like hobbies and going out. So if you sign a contract for like 3 years, you go in and then you come out still with the possibility to go to college or university, and you have a decent amount of money set aside, yeah, if you live,
Nice.
to actually start something with your life. But the Hungarian military is nowhere near that kind of level, so I chose against it. It would have been interesting because I really like the military. I like structure. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people, can't necessarily, they're like they're a square pin trying to get pushed through a round hole. Yeah, and they fight against authority, and they can't take orders and all that kind of stuff. But okay, a lot of it comes down to what kind of leader you have, but I find it relatively easy to fit into that kind of structure, and I enjoy that. Yeah, because it takes a lot off of your shoulders when you don't have to make certain decisions, and you're
Yes.
and you're doing more or less what you're told. It can be very freeing, and I feel happy in that kind of structure, and I would have found it really, because I really like guns. I've always been into guns, and
Okay.
we got to go to the range every so often. It wasn't as frequent as like the Americans get weapons training. I got to fire what is it, the AK. Well, we actually used the AMD 67, which is basically just a variant of the AK-47.
Yeah.
Uh, the Parabellum 9mm pistol, the what the fuck is it called? PKM, which is basically the Russian standard issue uh, machine gun. What was it? No, not machine. I'm probably using the wrong term for it in English, but anyway, the one that's bigger than the AK. And I
Okay.
and I got to shoot also the AK-47 version of the sniper rifle, the Dragonov, and it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I could have really stayed there. It's just it wasn't enough to offset the fact that I would have been making ridiculously low money.
Mm. I, when thinking about this kind of things, guns and so, that's strange. Somehow, I think that is natural to be attracted to this kind of technology because, well, we've basically been hunters for years and years and years. But still, wow, this gives you the possibility to get into rebellion against totalitarian governments. But the way people use it, like the Columbine stuff and so and so. Um,
Yeah, but it's the way I look at it, and the thing that I strongly believe surrounding guns, and when people bring up arguments like that, it's, yeah, they use a gun to do that, but it's not the gun doing that. People do
yes,
people
yes,
do those things against people, and it should be more about uh, teaching people to be more responsible, and making it maybe a little bit more difficult to get weapons into the hands of people like that. But
yeah,
it's not something that should really be banned. If a government has weapons at their disposal, and the government is supposed to be working for the people, if the government turns tyrannical, then what do you have to go against them? Nothing.
yes, exactly. That's the
Nothing.
problem we've got in France right now. If people had weapons, they wouldn't be such cocky on us.
No, exactly. And they know it. Yeah,
Yes,
governments in a lot of the parts of the world know this, that people are no longer afraid. Well, they not just they're not afraid, but what is it? No, let me get my thoughts together. That they've realised people look to them for help for everything. Yeah, and it's no longer the politicians being afraid of the people. Yeah, it's the people being afraid of the government in a lot of cases, and it shouldn't be the case because they're pub. Oh, for fuck's sake! Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you back.
Okay, I lost connection again. My internet must be playing up.
You were talking about the fear of the government.
Yeah, no, they've come to realize that people are actually afraid of them now. It's not the government being afraid of the people, but the people are actually afraid of the government, and they've come to realize that, and they have the advantage in a lot of countries where people don't have weapons. They know this, and they abuse it.
Yes. French government got really afraid when the Yellow Jackets came in because the hunter community who was really pissed off too, and they got in negotiations only with them just at the beginning of the movement, so they don't go with the Yellow Jackets. But many of them were ready to take their weapons and get in. But
It's
as always, like policemen and so, government does a little things for them, give them a little more, so they can just shut up and let
yeah.
them exploit
It's
others.
it's interesting though because a lot of countries, especially in like Eastern Europe, in the area where I am, a lot of people look at France as being one of the last places where people really actively make their voices heard and uh, make an impression on their government to make change. I mean, in a lot of countries, governments can get away with a lot, but when the French government tries to make certain changes, then it's quite frequent that people will go on a strike or they will
Yeah,
go
some
go and
protests, big protests,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's one of the last places in Europe where people really actively do that and actually affect change on their government.
But that is almost no more the case because
No.
it started with Nicolas Sarkozy in in the beginning of the century, like 205 to 10. We had big protests for education changes that weren't going to. The more it goes, the more it is. You socialize what's expensive, and you privatize all that makes money. That's the big problem we have. Until now we had such a good education system, a good healthcare system, but it's all under the private profit attack, and our politicians are melt with this. So there have been more and more repression, and even when we go into big protests, the results are tiny and tinier as the time goes. So that's why the Yellow Jackets came up, and this has been really violent. I've been in the protests, and you can get hurt really for nothing. Not like in Russia, but I took
No, I know what you mean.
stick hits and mass gas, and really war scenes I've seen almost. Just bullets were missing, but all of the rest was there. People doing nothing, just being parked in town and being shot at. So if the actual president we have still goes on this kind of thing, that's really going to be mad because people will get angry again, and they will. That can't end well.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine.
That's why I hope there won't be the same president again, nor the far right wing, but there's the one I was talking about earlier, the one who talks about lawfare. That's coming up into the how do you call it, sondage, when people make statistics on in vote intentions. He's coming up, and maybe he will be on the second tour. So maybe we've got someone who would call me up. Mm,
Okay, well at least there's something positive might happen.
May, but there is a big propaganda against him.
Yeah, there always is. There always is. I was about a month ago. I was because I live just on the outskirts of the capital of Budapest, and
Hmm.
it takes me about I don't know 15 20 minutes by car. And
Okay.
I was on my way into the capital, and um, in Hungary, Orban is the prime minister, and
Yeah.
the previous guy was called Gyurcsány, that people have a lot of problems with. Yeah, he was a bit of a dope, and they were going about things very badly, but that's not beyond the point. Um, but I'd be interested to see what kind of things people do in other countries for like political messaging and everything. But I was surprised when I saw a big billboard at the side of the road, and they had a picture of it was Austin Powers with
Yeah.
the evil doctor
Yes.
and Mini Me. They basically
Yeah.
had a picture of Doctor Evil with Mini Me, and and they had photoshopped Gyurcsány's head onto Doctor Evil, and his new second in command, like his right hand man. They photoshopped his head onto the body of Mini Me, and they had some stupid slogan with it, and I was like, God, how can they get away with this level of like degrading personal attack as like political propaganda? It seems crazy to me.
Yeah, like when it's a meme on the internet, that's funny, but
That
when it
that
comes to
yeah.
billboard, that's frightening.
Like if it's a meme on the internet, I can understand. You know, I have a bit of a laugh. If it's something I've seen on Reddit, fair enough. But when it's something that a political party has paid with taxpayer dollars for someone to
Yeah,
come up with, and they put it all over the fucking country, I'm like, what's going on here? You know?
yeah, that sounds much more like Orwell's book.
Yeah, 1984. We're getting closer and closer and closer to being what's in that book every single day.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
the Truth Ministry. And I was wondering because we hear a lot about stuff about Orban in our country.
Yeah.
Um, how is it going with him?
I wouldn't really know, to be honest. I pay much more attention to politics in America than I do in my own country.
Yeah, you're right. Everything follows as long as they will as they have their hegemony on the world. Everything will be like a fashion to be followed. Until maybe China takes up over, but that would
Chi-
be.
China's in a much stronger position than a lot of people are willing to admit,
Yeah,
because if you look at the vast majority of the superior technologies in the world,
yeah,
99.9% of them are made with components that come from China.
they got it all, and they got the Silk Road now. I think that's not done work, but almost no. Am I mistaken about this? They began the work a few years ago, but I think that's almost done now.
No, I'm not sure. I really I follow so little in that regard. I follow the American politics because whatever whatever happens there, whatever they bring about, is gonna slowly but surely trickle down to Europe, and
Yeah,
if anyone's gonna bring about the beginning of World War III, then it's gonna be them in response to what Russia and China are doing. So I try and pay more attention to America than anything else.
yes, yes, you're right about this. And somehow it seems that it fastens as times go by. We used to say that what happens in America happens in France 10 years later, but now it's not 10 years. It has been 5 years, and then three, and then we almost at their point now.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same here. It's the same here. And the problem is, yeah, that they say that mimicking someone is the greatest form of flattery, and that would be true if we were mimicking the positive things. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
the problem is they're mimicking from the basic level of like social issues all the way up to the
but
more important things. We're mimicking all of the stupid shit and none of the real good shit. And I just don't understand. I don't get it.
I think that maybe that is not as much mimicking as taking over, because like our actual president Emmanuel Macron has been part of the young leader things. I don't know if you've heard on that kind of stuff. That's um, not really a university thing, not in the classical way, but they are taking young students, not successive, successful students into this kind of class. Then they are meant to be the leaders of the next world,
No, I
somehow.
understand. I understand.
And
Yeah, yeah.
all of this is about business. When you talk about universal and things like that being one and big country all together, that's mostly, I think, all about business. Just look at how big French companies have taken over Eastern Europe. Like you've got factories with low-paid jobs and so on and so on. They're always regarding to where they can make the more money and being more and more potent everywhere. So I don't think that's really mimic. It's just like not an octopus, but more like a cancer.
Yeah,
Cancer growth will be the thing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Agent Smith had it right in the Matrix. The
Ah,
the the the,
yeah,
the
yeah.
human race is a virus. We just go and reproduce. We go to one place and we reproduce and we use up all the natural resources until there's no more and we move on. That's what we are. We're a cancer. We're the cancer of this planet.
I don't think that we are. I think that capitalism is. Um, take I don't know if he has been translated, but there are French researchers who have done a lot of work about communism and so on, and who studied the history of capitalism. And one of them is a woman that has been invited in the US. She's a philosopher who studied main theories of capitalism, and how to, how to say it. Um, I think that, like we were talking about cavemen and Neanderthal earlier,
Yeah.
really, there is no reason for one man to possess more and more and more than others. I mean, there has to be a limit where you can possess more than that, because uh, that creates living gods. If if we
No,
have
I understand.
if you want to be in a democracy, you have to talk about things. But if things still kept be hidden just because profit purpose, we can't go anywhere, because this is the only thing running down underneath. We can talk whatever we want, but if still mm, so much people are allowed to earn that much money. I mean, that works like mafia. You know, the big capo earns the most, but he has to keep his right arms, for so saying, rich too. He has to make trickling down enough so he keeps power. And if we somehow manage to put on a system that really puts a limit on what you can own, maybe we'll become humans again. I mean, in the good sense, where we will be as civilized as Neanderthals, at least.
Oh, I think it's more to do with human nature. It's a lot more to do with education and
Yeah,
and intelligence like if you look at it on the grand scheme of things, capitalism and democracy, in connection with one another, are great as long as there's enough of a distinction between them that one doesn't necessarily have any influence over the other. As soon as that starts to cross pollinate, then you start to have a problem. But overall, capitalism and democracy are the only things that have really had a, a long-lasting positive effect over social structures, and they're on the whole the fairest. But I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of it. The thing is, it's got a lot more to do with people's the way people go about things. There wouldn't be any problem with people making vast amounts of money if how much they paid people below them
Yeah, but
was structured differently. There's no need. I know what you mean. There's no need for a company like Apple, let's say, to make
mm,
stupid amounts of money when the people below them that make their products earn barely enough to make a living wage.
yeah,
If they restructured that throughout the whole system, it would greatly influence uh, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people's
yeah.
lives. Yeah, and
Totally agreed, but there's one point toward this that if you don't put a limit on one's possessions, you it's almost like I was talking about earlier, as above, so below. People who are the biggest junkies, we don't ever or almost never talk about money as a drug. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So if we don't put a limit, that's that will ever go as oh, the planet doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is money and profit. We can make profit on other people. We can make profit on the resources that will be needed for further generations. I mean, we've completely fucked up the planet, and this is the main point of what I'm saying when I say we really need to put a limit. Because think of it, if we had, you can gain maybe two, three, four, maybe five times, five as much as the lowest worker. Five times is still such a power you can have on people around you. But some people do more and discover things. That's normal thing to have something that's like a reward. You can have a bit more, but um, everything comes about what is meritocracy. Um, what we really deserve? Can a human really deserve to gain thousands of times more than the guy who wipes his mother's ass in the institution or educates his children, or walks the land, whatever? There's no meaning to all of this if people don't share a common destiny. If you gain twice the amount of money uh, than people around you, you still live in a common world. But when this becomes so wildly insane, this only allows people to get to be in envy of this. People around, they want to be richer, like because they see it's possible to have this and big mansions and so on and so on. So basically, if you put a limit to what you can have as an income or land properties, you get you'll probably get people to manage resources and land and whatever makes us a living wiser. I mean, um, the the way people would get pride with wouldn't be the amount of money they get, but what they are coming up with. I mean, you can be proud because you are good at sport, because you're good at music, because you're good fighter, whatever. But these are sane things, wealthy things. If you are just proud of being into domination, that that can do no good. That's what I meant.
No, I understand, but and that's where I come back to it being more about the person. It's not necessarily the system. I mean, if you start to put limits on it, then things will eventually reach a point where it doesn't necessarily uh, improve in the same kind of pace as it would do otherwise, where there are no limits. It really needs more to come down to the types of people that are in power that employ more fair systems and more fair strategies. I'm by no means saying that that I'm a big massive fan of capitalism. It has its flaws, but out of all the systems that people have tried over the years, it's by far so far the most successful at making the fairest possible system. It's just
Yes,
we
but
still haven't
somehow,
found balance.
did we ever really try? I mean, has another system really existed? I mean, we were probably more like communists when we were cavemen, even if the chief maybe had the nicest piece of meat. But as really, because we always point at Russia and say, "Oh, look at them! This was hell on earth." When they tried to get to communism, we point China, but China is no more communist at all. I mean, I don't
Well,
mean
it
that
is.
communism
It
would be a
is.
great state. I don't mean that. But when we come up to a comparison, we don't have anything to compare really.
Oh, we do. We do. I mean,
Yeah,
well, Russia in and of itself has been one of the most communist state. Well, yeah, has been in communism for the longest time.
yeah,
There,
but they never end up with a working system. They never really put it in a function. How to say it? I think because of corruption and the economical war from the US, they were never able to put something stable enough to see how it will work. The times time time lapse when it occurred was low, tiny. We don't know.
Russia, the way it is today, has been around for longer than for longer than America, and in all of that time, that when they were a larger superpower than America is, they weren't
Yeah,
able to make it work. And every country, like if you, look, I'll give you other examples of places where like communism and socialism have come to be, where previously they had a more democratic system. Look at Venezuela.
yeah,
Venezuela Venezuela was a perfectly functioning country where people were happy. Okay, there was poverty and there were problems, yeah, but now they've basically gone to the same kind of state that the Russia was in the 1920s, between like the 1920s and 1940s. Yeah,
yeah. But Americans
there's
are on economical war with them. So
but yeah, but that's not the why. Yeah, that's the Americans are in an economical war with them to try and influence the government to go back to the system that they had. The system that they had was working. The system that they had wasn't oppressing the people. The system that they had shops with food on the shelves. The system that they have now,
mm,
people are poor. People are
yeah,
dying of starvation. People are being gathered up on the streets and imprisoned for nothing more than speaking their mind. That's not a system, that's a dictatorship.
yeah,
And that's happened within the last 10 years. So it's got nothing to do about the outside pressures. They introduced a certain system that they thought would be better than the one they had before, and it's just all gone to shit. If you took if all sanctions and all everything else that was placed against Venezuela were lifted, and people started to send more help there than what they are right now, yeah, they wouldn't make a significant difference because there's a massive amount of corruption within the socialist communist system, and the help wouldn't actually reach the people. And the people that are trying to speak out and make change are just gathered up and thrown in prison. Like,
Yes, but that's almost the same outcome in capitalism. Look at what's coming. I mean, Russia is not a communist state for a long time. I mean, even in France, with socialism, we did great things, but it has gone right wing from left wing isn't a left wing for a long time now. And I mean, authoritarianism is occurring right now. Our president is authoritarian right now in a soft way, but still it's getting in. I mean, I don't think this is a property of communism or capitalism. Um,
oh,
how to say?
I see what you mean. It's again, it's more down to the way that the person is handling it.
Yeah, and and because the fact that capitalism doesn't respect its own theory. I mean, the one who theorized capitalism in the first place said that there were 4 to 5 things that must not be privatized, like education, like health, like energy, and water. What do we see now in America? They are putting even the water supplies under private control. It's not all over America now, but it's in the way to get to it. And that's very dangerous because they didn't respect the why these people were telling at the first place that some things need not to be on the market ever. You know what I mean? What is common possession? What is must
No,
not be
I understand.
merchandise.
No,
And they
I
did
understand.
it anyway. Capitalism won't be a bad system if we respected this, but we didn't.
Oh, I see what you
And
mean. I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
that's that's the most frightening thing, I think, because when people will really get their hands on water and stuff, we'll just be slaves even more than we are now.
No, I get it. I get it. I get it.
And there's a French scientist who is a specialist about nuclear power and electricity and stuff, who says that slavery hasn't ended because of goodwill. Slavery has been ended just because slaves were how do you say, uh, cost more money to entertain a slave than to entertain a machine. It says that if we didn't have oil exploitation and machines, we will still be in slavery system.
Oh,
And
I think that the changes that came about in the social revolution at the time of at the time of the slaves being freed in America, uh, I think that would have happened eventually, simply from social influence. That people that the social change would have continued to happen to a point where it would have come about one way or the other, regardless. It might have happened later on, but it still would have happened. Like the pressure that people can put on governments uh, when social ideals start to change is still quite significant. It just might have happened slower.
yes, maybe I think that that's a really possible thing, but there is still a possibility where it would have turned like a science fiction um, topic. Like, I don't know if you've read Frank Herbert. He's the one who has written Dune.
What?
Like the movie who has came up a few months ago, Dune. You know the Planet of Spice.
Oh yeah, with Jason
Yeah,
Momoa. Yeah. I just watched that. Yeah. No, I saw the
the
original as well.
the book is really good, really better than the first from David Lynch. I like David Lynch, but he made a mess with the book. Well, the same author has written many other stories that are worth reading, and some of them are like many scenarios we can see now where there's a part of humanity who still lives in nice cities with big suburbs where it's a mess around, and the two worlds uh, get really separated with violence and domination. I wonder if that wouldn't have been the case if slavery would have continued, you know?
No, I understand. It's an interesting way of looking at things. There's also the other way of looking at things that it, for all intents and purposes, slavery hasn't really ended. Again,
Oh yeah,
in much the same way, as the Crusades have never really ended.
yes,
They
I
take a different
totally agree.
form. Slavery
The
is
mod
still around. It's just taken a different form because I mean, if I
it
want
has been generalized.
exactly if I want to eat, I have to go out and work to earn some
Yeah,
money so I can buy some. And that's the whole premise of a bartering system, regardless of whether you put that inside of capitalism or whatever else it is.
yeah,
Yeah, but we're still slaves over a certain system, and
exactly.
it's just that system has been put together in such a way that you're almost happy to be in this system over other
Yes,
systems.
that's the big point. I think that we will be civilized people when a child doesn't have to grow in a world he knows he he has to be a slave for a moment just to have a shelter. Because think of it, if you want to build like a bushcraft shelter, you can't. You'll be kicked out. Even even if you want to live
because
like a caveman, you can't.
someone owns the land, and then the
Yeah,
owner of that land will kick you out. No, I understand, and that's the main that's one of the main reasons, like that premise, that understanding of the difference between freedom and slavery in that kind of context, and the systems used to keep us there is the reason why I really love Star Trek, because in
yeah.
Star Trek there's no more money on Earth. People get to do uh,
Oh, okay. I haven't watched it enough. I did not know that there were no more money.
no,
Interesting. I'll
there's
get into it further.
there's no money on Earth. Okay, because there's trade between different worlds. There's still forms of currency. There's like but it's not an out and out money.
Like
Resource,
services also.
yeah, services and resources, knowledge, technology. The trades of technologies and things. There's still forms of trade, but on Earth there's no um, there's no real in the later forms of Star Trek. In the earlier forms of Star Trek, there's still money on Earth, but in the later parts of Star Trek, there's no money on Earth anymore, and people get to do what they do simply for the betterment of themselves, and they can figure out what it is that they want to do for the betterment of themselves and the betterment of humanity. So, like, if someone's really interested in and good at something like something in the sciences, yeah,
And did
they'll put the right kind of education behind them to help bring them up to as high a level as possible to make themselves happy and to make the most of their talents and their knowledge to help better civilization on a whole.
yeah.
And
And
it's that entire premise that Star Trek is built on, that we do things not solely for personal gain, but to be a more balanced and happy person, balanced and happy society
for the
and
greater good.
civilization for the greater good. Exactly.
And did they put the transition in the history? How did they went from a system with money? Oh,
There are various theories, but you don't really get to the. It's never addressed in any one of the seasons
okay.
as to how exactly they went about it. There were a number of wars. There was a World War III in the Star Trek canon. and later on there was also a war that they called the eugenics war, where science had progressed to a point with genetic engineering that they were able to make people smarter and stronger and all that kind of stuff. And then there were wars between nations um, that were creating, super soldiers and more intelligent people. And eventually they banned the genetic engineering because they were never really able to make um, superior people that weren't also much more aggressive. They were never able to tame the aggressive nature of people out. Like the people that they managed to make better with intelligence and strength and everything. Yeah, they also like turned up the levels of aggression and hate and everything else they had in people. So they had to outlaw it. But and then after that there was almost according to canon there was because they never really address it in anywhere. There's almost like a kind of like a almost a dark age where they don't really have a lot of information when civilization broke down, and then after that things started to change.
It's funny how throughout history we always talk about something being a dark age.
Yeah.
Just to think that we are in the bright one. I think we still are in dark ages. Maybe I'm mistaken, but
Yeah,
okay.
you never really know when you're in it, do you? You only know when you're on the other
Exactly.
on the other side. Well,
Exactly.
well anyway, I got to your base. I repaired everything, and
Oh,
and I, and I
nice.
and I left the stuff that I gathered with me on the benches. So I'm gonna
So
leave
you
and
can get it back if I die again.
yeah, if you die again, just give me a bell, and then I can jump in and continue and come and save you again.
Yes. Nice. Really nice. So I think I'll get further into Star Trek. From now, I'm watching. That's the season. I don't remember the name. That's the season where, at the end, the first season, Jean-Luc Picard dies and is put back in a golem. This is the one on Amazon right now,
He's put back on what? Sorry.
in a golem body. At the end, he
Oh,
dies.
Borg.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not he's not Borg. He defends the synth. He finds one first sisters that get killed in front of him at the beginning of the season, and he finds the second one, the second twin, during the season. And at the end, they find the twins' homeland, where
Oh, Data.
yeah, Data is not alive anymore. He's just a memory in a computer, but the twins are Data's daughters.
I don't remember those episodes. I started watching it again, but I like randomly started watching from like season 4 or something. I've
Okay.
I've seen them all multiple times over the years, but I can't remember that one that you're talking about. I,
The-
I'll start. I've been meaning to start again. I like start from like the first season and then watch through. But there always seems to be something else that comes along because I'm really waiting for the. I got into Raised by Wolves on HBO.
Oh,
That's a really good one. It's also sci-fi. It talks about the religion and atheism because like the people
okay.
there's two massive main factions on Earth. It's basically one religion called the Mithraic and the atheists, and they're fighting against one another. And Earth is like in tatters. It's not going to be able to sustain life for long. And then they make these huge ships to take people to go colonize other planets. And
Okay.
there's some shit happens, but it's all about there's two androids have been prepared that can that can incubate human embryos
Okay. I think I get
art,
to
art, artificially, and they're supposed to be one form of the atheists' way of also, starting up colonies elsewhere. And it's all about what happens with these kids and the androids, and some atheists are found and some Mithraic are still found. It's interesting.
Okay.
It's at the end of its second season right now, but it's really got me hanging on the edge of my seat. And I don't know. You know the film Snowpiercer?
Ah, yes, I the movie, but I didn't watch the series.
The
The
se- the
movie was a good idea.
the series is more interesting than the movie. They they
Okay.
they they fle- they flesh out of a lot more ideas and the differences between the people up in first class and the people in the tail of the train, and it becomes very interesting.
Okay.
That's like in its third season or whatever, I think, on Netflix. We're just
Probably yes.
we're coming to the end of the third season right now on Netflix, but that's also really interesting. So there's always something, I start to rewatch something like Star Trek or Stargate, or something from the past that I really enjoyed, but then it gets interrupted because there's something new and interesting that comes along at the same time.
Yes, that's a problem, and some take a long time to get their following.
Yeah,
For example, here's another one. Have you seen Tribes of Europa?
I heard of it. I'm not
That's
sure. I can't remember whether I've watched it or not because in the last like 3 years I've watched so many things.
This is a post-nuclear war story where people there are no more governments. These are just tribes, biggest or tiniest, and there's an event incoming in a forest one that keep living hidden in the forest that occurs and interesting.
Oh, I'll take a
Got
look. I'll take a look at it.
some some time to spend. Yes, that's. I'm looking forward for the next one, but it takes time. Too much.
Yeah, and the COVID didn't help either with the delay in getting a lot of things made.
Yep. Oh fuck! I see a white bear coming to the mining site. Don't come near. Don't come near. Oh shit! You're coming. Well, I have to kill you. You can destroy my house. I don't bother.
You've got so much stuff at your house. Why didn't you make a hunting rifle?
Oh, I thought I was going to take it because I didn't know what the mission was, and if it was big beast, I thought that maybe a rifle would be a nice thing to have. But I forgot to take it with me.
Yeah, and with the change that they made to the bears, hunting rifle is.
Oh fuck! I took one hit while standing on the top of the roof. As he was underneath, no way he could hit me, but I got killed in one hit.
You're dead again.
Yes, one hit. One fucking hit. Damn, how is it possible?
I'll come back.
At the mining site. And oh, if you
M14,
can take
a
a
hunting
new
rifle.
extractor, if you're still at the base, you can
Yeah, yeah. I
if
logged
there
out at the base.
if you can take a new extractor, that will be great. Because I think it just destroyed the one in use. Oh fuck, sorry.
That's all right.
I think next time I'll put the extractor out and just go away for the time he passes by. Damn, now I know it's possible to get hit upstairs.
Yeah, they've got quite a long reach. It's unfortunate. Do you have the fabricator with you?
Nope. That's why I was telling you if you can take an extractor.
Where is the fabricator? Because I'm on the main level of the base and I don't see the fabricator.
Ah, damn! I must have taken it with me the last time, and when because I was away for too long, the cabin was destroyed. Maybe it was destroyed as well. Oh fuck! I'll have to do it again. I don't know if there's enough materials.
Oh, I'm
Um,
looking around now.
Maybe there will be a lack of scent and probably of electronics. But still, in the next to the chimney, there are uh, how do you call it?
Cupboards.
Uh, yep, where is there's metal in there next to the forge. On the right, you've got the precious metals, and on the left, you've got
Yeah, yeah. No, I found it.
happy you're still in the game. Well, normally, as soon I will have this deposit dried, I won't die anymore getting out of the snow. Oh, fuck. Hope I could return the favor. You're always saving me. Don't you die ever?
Oh,
Sometimes?
I do every now and then. That probably the last time I died was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Always surrounded?
You what? Sorry.
Always surrounded with friends?
Oh no, I play solo.
Okay. Nicest way to play while listening to stuff and so and so.
Oh, I always stream, so I don't usually listen to anything because then I'd get my stream. What is it?
Okay.
Copyright claims, and I can't listen to the forest. Then there's a lot of people really underestimate how much you can get from the forest. Like literally 99% of the time, I will hear the bear or the wolf or whatever it is long before I see it, and I'll be able to tell what direction it's coming from. You just have to listen to the forest.
Yes. I usually go towards them for bones.
Yeah, me too.
Um, do you have what it takes at the base?
Fr-
Or
from what I can tell, yeah, I will do. I just have to assemble some things.
okay, nice. Thank you for that.
No problem.
I didn't watch on the Icarus news this week. Is there any information out there about the next step? I mean, around biomes. For the moment, we're in the um, how how to say it, earth-formed biomes, and I've seen somewhere that they plan on doing the two other steps. The first will be the partially transformed areas, and then totally alien areas. Heard of it?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I got lost when they were talking about the Dean said they acknowledged the fact that they released it. They put the game out under release when it was really a pre-release, and they appreciate people sticking with them and persevering and everything. And to show appreciation, they're going to bring out some extra map before the DLC drops called Sticks, and it's still not 100%, but it's a strong possibility. And outside of that, I haven't really been paying attention. I haven't really been putting a lot of effort in.
Okay. Didn't hear about sticks. I thought it would be called second cohort or something like that.
Oh, but that's like the DLC. This is something other than that.
D'accord. Uh, okay. I look forward to it.
I just need 13 more cement, waiting for it to finish making it.
Okay. Um, Maybe at the entrance you will find some silice.
Yeah, no, I found it.
Almost takes too much time now to make cement in the update.
Oh, they changed it since it was going very slowly, but they did improve it slightly. It takes 10 seconds to make one cement now, and
Ah, nice.
if you give the cement mixer water with the water pump, then it takes 5 seconds.
Okay, nice.
Originally they changed it where it would take 25 seconds to make one cement, but that was way too slow, and they changed it so it's now 10 seconds and 5 seconds.
Nice. Too bad there's not any missions where it's where needed to spend that much time. It's
Yeah,
almost like you have to go like a sandbox game or exploration to get the whole thing done. Would it be great that they put out some really long-term missions with many objectives?
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Like this mission is basically one of the more complex ones. One of the new mission they put out, the cryogenic research, that's similar to this and slightly easier. And I think if I had to choose, I'd probably do the cryogenic one over this one. But it's the closest thing to like a more long term mission where you have a lot of objectives.
Yep.
They're working in the right direction, at least at the moment.
Good to hear. At the beginning, I thought the map was going to be way more wilder. I mean, it's quite big, but I thought it would be even bigger.
Yeah, when we first started playing, I was like, "Oh man, this place is huge." But once you get to playing it, okay, it takes you a fair amount of time, but it's relatively easy to go from one part of the map to another, like go a significant distance, and it does start to feel quite small after a while. I can only imagine what it's going to feel like when we get vehicles.
Oh, they plan on doing this?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, interesting.
There's supposedly going to be an ATV, a motorcycle, and a rover, and the rover can also pull a trailer.
Yeah, nice. I was hoping they would go on big caves mission, you know. At first, I thought that it would be more like it, like when you first go to the desert, you have to drill stone wall, and I thought that maybe there was a whole level in it, but unfortunately, maybe what,
There,
300 meters?
there's still a lot that they could do underground and in cave systems inside the mountains. They could definitely still make a lot of improvement on that. Bring out a lot more content. I
That
mean,
will be great.
there are huge cave systems a lot of people haven't really paid attention to that are absolutely massive. That they could base entire missions inside the caves. So just this map itself has still got a lot of potential. There's like there's probably at least four different areas where that they're significantly big enough that they could do some serious missions just inside those areas.
Never really built anything except for this one at the beginning in caves, because when you get back to the game, cave worms always destroy things where you're not in.
If you use a dehumidifier, the worms don't spawn anymore.
Oh, good to hear. I think I'll look forward to it. Nice possibility. Don't have to repair anything anymore.
I don't build bases in the open anymore. Like for the last 3 or 4 missions, I've always been building inside caves. I make a dehumidifier as quickly as possible, and it makes everything so much simpler.
Yes, I think I'll give it a try.
I'm almost ready. I'm just getting some. I made myself a compound bow also, and I'm getting some food together. But I have to wait for a sandstorm to finish.
Take your time. So, wait. That's already kind of you to spend so much time rescuing me.
That's no problem.
Too bad they didn't make a system where you can take one of your characters to rescue one of your own. That would have been tricky
Oh yeah.
to manage. Maybe like once you've rescued your first person character, the one gets instantly out of the planet. But you know, if you're playing at night, that could have been an option. Um, I was thinking if you've got some place in your inventory and some weight left, maybe bringing a few floors, stone floors, will be a good thing.
Okay.
The cabin is crackling right now, so if we have to get under shelter, that will be great. Don't think that will last much more longer. Especially if you're desert suited right now. I think next mission I'll take a non-hardcore one so I can figure out a new way to fight white bears. That would be great.
Yeah, just bears in general have been completely changed. It's a lot harder to do anything against them.
Okay, I thought only the white ones were updated because I came across a brown one and I had no struggle killing
I
him.
that it's still possible, but they changed it. They gave them a couple of different variations on how they can attack. So depending on how it attacks you, it can be a little bit more difficult.
Okay, I just got lucky then. Basically still run into him just to pass over. Have you met many people on the game yet?
Well, I don't play so much. I play really almost exclusively solo, and I've invited a few people to share the rewards when I finish the mission, and I've gone on a couple of rescue missions, and I've met a few people, but I don't really actively try and look for people that much.
Yep, I was just wondering if it doesn't seem to me like really young people play this game.
No, not really. I think it's because of the style of gameplay and the level of difficulty. It's not something they're really interested in because
That's
they're
a good thing.
I think it's more about the fact that a lot of the games that have become significantly popular are a lot more social. So like if you think about PUBG and Fortnite and Rust and things like that, that's got a much stronger social aspect to it.
Fortnite has a social aspect?
Well, supposedly because of the tournaments.
Ah, okay. Never played it.
No, I haven't either. I haven't. The only thing out of those three, the only thing I played was Rust, and I'm happy I stopped playing that. I uninstalled it the second that Icarus came out.
Another survival game that's going to come out will probably be nice. Have you tried the first one that was The Forest?
Yeah, I tried it, but I got a refund on Steam. I played it for about 5 hours, and I was like, nah, I can't do this.
Okay.
I'm looking.
There's a
I'm looking forward more to what Bethesda are going to be bringing out in November. Starfield.
oh,
It's more sci-fi. It's supposedly
Starfield.
supposedly going to be something similar to this, but with more in space aspects where we have like a spaceship and we fly around.
Okay, I know this. I'll take a look.
And it's coming from Bethesda. This is going to be their first significantly original piece of content, like story wise, since Fallout, and because or since Skyrim, because Skyrim came after Fallout, didn't it? So
Yep.
I've got a lot of hopes on that because they haven't when it comes to single player stuff where it's got a significant lore and backstory. They've always done a very good job. So
Yes, my little brother is a great fan of Fallout. Never tried it yet.
you never played Fallout.
No, never.
Oh, you'd love it.
I'll give it a try probably, but there's still one that I bought while it was underpriced. I didn't try. That was Chernobyl. Heard of it?
I'm not familiar with that. No.
Um, half survival, half RPG, I think. You have to build your base and go through a story within Chernobyl.
Now
Seems a
the only
bit
thing that I've played like that was Stalker.
okay. I've bought it, but never took time to play it yet. Do you
Um,
think it's still good?
Stalker. Oh yeah, they're coming out with Stalker 2 soon. That's supposed to be an amazing game as well.
Nice.
So
Try to play
what
the
were you
first
saying?
one.
I should bring some stone. What?
Stone floors, because there are metal walls. I've got walls, stone walls with me in my inventory.
How many?
Oh, you can take 4. Basically, it's a 2 square cabin, 2 by 1. So Even if the walls come down, I can replace them, but I forgot to take more floors. Didn't think it would, and I forgot the shovel, so I couldn't put out the snow.
You can if that's the problem, I can also make some pillars. If you add the pillars, then the roof won't cave in.
Oh, nice.
Or also, if you use
I think I have some in my inventory.
or also if instead of the flat roof you use the ramp, the slanted roof, then also the snow won't build up so much that it breaks.
Ah, nice to hear.
I
Yeah,
u-
if s-
I usually just go straight for concrete because it doesn't take any damage on this map and it also stands up to snow without using pillars.
okay, I never use it actually.
If I'm going for a more advanced mission where I know I'm gonna stay a while, then I always go straight to concrete.
I'll give it a try. I thought stone ones were enough, and I didn't want to spend much time to build that, but if they don't break up, that's great. But first, I'll become a caveman too.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Well, earlier you said you stayed working in the warehouse. Are you still doing so?
No, no. Well, I'm still in the same industry. I work in logistics, but I'm in the office.
Okay. Like it?
Oh, it's okay. I wish I hadn't have changed from what I was doing because that was a lot better. But there was some. I'd broken. I was working at a beach. I was doing site management, so like all of the infrastructure, water, electricity, sewage, and the building of new things. I would always oversee all of that and the upkeep of the beach itself. I broke my leg, and
Oh,
I my brother had just started the company that he started and needed some help. And I didn't really see myself being able to continue what I was doing at the beach at the time. And I thought if it's in all likelihood they're going to end up either repositioning me within the company where I'd be doing something I don't really want to be doing, or they just fire me because I couldn't do the job anymore, then I might as well make a move. And then I moved to working with my brother. and
Nice.
it's nice and easy because I work from home. I work the graveyard shift, so I work from 8 p.m. till 8 a.m. And there's like some days there's literally nothing to do, and other days I'm busy, and I get to play. I play on the computer the whole time, and if any work comes in, I just pause, and I go and do my work, and when it's finished, I go back to playing. So it's very convenient. But yeah, working in the graveyard shift for so long, it can start to affect your life in other ways because you don't really have very many options.
Yeah. Not many contact though. As long as you're good with it. If it allows you to have your own home,
Oh yeah, I
that's always better than being on a rent.
I I live alone, so I don't really have all that much to spend money on outside of like the computer and games and stuff. So it's enough easily to pay the bills. I don't remember the last time I cooked anything. Like I order food every day, so and I still have money left at the end of the month. So I'm in that regard, I'm happy. So I don't I don't really have much to complain about. Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm just going over. I've got the four stone floors you want. I made some extra pillars in case. There was two more cans of fuel in the thing, so I brought some extra fuel in case you need it with an extra extractor, and the rest is just like weapons and things to keep myself safe on the way there.
Nice.
There wasn't enough titanium to make a hunting rifle.
Oh, you can take the one that was.
Where is it?
Oh, shit. Maybe in the other bench. If I did the rifle, you've seen one earlier or not?
No, no.
Oh shit. So I didn't build it. Maybe. Maybe take a look at the other benches. Maybe I just took the stuff out of the fabricator. But if you don't see it in the other benches, then maybe that was another mission. And frankly, I never use it. Once you've got a good bow, everything goes down.
There's a shovel here as well. Should I bring that for you?
Oh, yeah, if you got enough place. I like the description of the shovel. If I remember well, that said to drag snow or to bury your friend.
Yeah. I made you some air conditioning as well, so when you get home, it's going to be more comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Because the one of the storms that came through was particularly strong, and I was overheating, so I made the air conditioner so I wouldn't get heat stroke.
Okay.
No, I don't see the hunting rifle anywhere, and there's only 24 titanium, so I'll just go with the compound bow. I made some composite arrows as well.
Yes. Take whatever you need. Well, I thought I did things in a way that will spare me time, but in the end, that just put me into a lot more trouble than I expected. Ah, there's a bear between the walls. Sniffing around.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Nice. You did fast. Gonna get on the map.
Oh, I know what I wanted to make. Oh, never mind. I won't need it. I was gonna make some of the anti-poison, but
Oh,
I should I should be able to get through the desert without having to worry too much about the scorpions.
yes, as long as you don't get hit too much times, that can't be dangerous, really.
With the stinger, they don't do too much damage, but if you don't pay attention and you stay too close to them and they pinch you with the big pincers in the front, that does double the amount of damage. and
Okay,
and they can pinch quite quickly. So if you have like 3 or 4 scorpions surrounding you and they start to pinch you, they can very quickly take you down a lot of health. So
good to know.
it's better to keep your distance. Like as they're walking towards you, just keep walking backwards and then swing at them with a knife or poke at them with a spear. And don't let it like the stinger. Like I said, it doesn't do that much damage, and the poison is quite rare that you get poison from them. So you just keep walking backwards and hitting them. Eventually, you can kill them.
Okay,
I'm still
good to know.
I still haven't found exactly where the spot on them is that you can hit to get a critical hit on them, and it's quite a small area. You have to be quite precise to hit that. It's even worse than trying to kill an elephant or a mammoth.
These are big scorpions, so
Ah,
or
they're relatively big. They're about the same size as a wolf.
okay. I thought these were like spiders.
Oh no 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 no. They're big. They're big. It's not like the desert really needed any more predators though, seeing as there's the boar, there's the cougar, there's the hyena, and then
Yeah, but
the elephants also get aggro on you if you do something wrong.
well, I think the elephant is the only one potent. The other ones, you can easily take them down with a knife, even if there are 4 to 5 of them.
Yeah, I guess.
At first, I thought that wow, so many of them, and then when you get in, finally, that's not much of a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, the boar can probably do more damage when he gets really close than the hyena or the cougar. Like
Yeah.
when he starts hitting you with his head, then he does more damage than them.
Yes. Need 3 clean hits to get it down.
I haven't come across too many scorpions. Well, I haven't really come across too many of anything right now.
Good.
I'm happy. It's just strange.
Well, you took the good path.
I think I'm